I'm here with Tori Weyers, and she is teaching us how to mix like the masters. So we're obviously talking about mixing paint.
We are mixing paint.
Okay, so what does that mean? I mean, what is it that the masters did with paint that's different than what we do?
Well, I put out both Monet and Renoir's palettes here because we're focused on Impressionist painting. Each artist had their own palette, and what's really interesting about this time period in the Impressionists is you can see here they're very bright. There isn't black or brown or really dark colors. They mixed those. So in this one, you can see how green, red, and yellow became black.
What do the numbers mean?
Oh, this is 5 parts green, 3 parts red, and 1 part yellow to get this black color.
Oh, and is that something you figured out by experimenting, or is that something you read about?
Read about, color wheel, yeah.
Cool. Knowledge is power. I always say that.
The more you know.
It's true, it's true.
And the reason this is important from a mixing standpoint is that now we have access to black. Technically, Monet used black in some of his earlier work, but he got rid of it. And the reason you want to do that is because by using all the colors on your palette to make black, then you have no color that isn't already in your painting. So everything really melds together.
So it pulls everything together and nothing like grabs the eye in a way that you don't want.
Right.
So I know that you were going to show us how this all works, and I'm really excited.
I am. I'm going to paint this apple in an impressionistic style. So the first thing you want to do is sketch. Whenever you're working from life, looking at it and kind of observing and doing a sketch is important. But a colored ground, and this is an ochre color, is what all the masters use. This becomes your mid-tone of your piece. And you can see my sketch here, and it really is just a loose sketch. We're not trying to get a photorealistic look because it's impressionist. And a good way to get that is to squint. So looking at it and kind of just looking at that shape and seeing the way the light hits it, the way the red comes in, and just get the essence. You want to kind of create the perception of it.
So you're not trying to create a realistic apple, you're just kind of getting the idea of an apple.
Right. And in impressionistic work, it was really about seeing the color, the light, and the life in the moment of that piece. Monet also mixed right on his pieces so that there was no waiting for dry time, but allowing things to kind of come to life.
I was going to say, we have some examples. There are many great books, obviously, out where if you can't get to a museum that has some of these great masters, you can see all kinds of examples of their work and how they're playing, and you can stare at them and kind of think about it. And I know you even have a sketch here, right, of an apple already done. Not a sketch, a painting.
Yes. Well, and in this example here to the right, really that is not about all of those people. That is about the light in that moment in time and how the sun is dappling across them.
So that's what we're trying to do. When you talk about the ground being a mid-tone, I think that what you mean by that is that everything has dark, light, and middle. And so what you're trying to do is you create your mid-tone so that you don't have to do any work, and then you're just either adding dark or light.
Right. And you're kind of working it back from dark to light and to create that mid-tone and then the brights in the background and the light on top. So here I'm using a wet on wet technique, and I have an example of it here where it allows you to get optical color mixing of you see that red on that yellow, but in between it starts to be orange. Even though I didn't scrub it and mix it, it's just the perception of orange.
I see that, and that's because the paint is wet, so it's thinner, and that's why it's called wet on wet. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And what's this card all about?
This is also a technique called scumbling, which essentially is taking the color underneath, putting a wet on top, and then using almost a dry brush and kind of scrubbing it. And so you're breaking it down and allowing that ground color to come through.
And I like that you can just keep adding, keep playing, and really you've got 3 colors here, and you're making a world of colors by combining them together in different ways. Now, I have to talk to you about this masonite board that you have here. So you just have a piece of palette paper, I noticed, and it just has it's clipped right onto this masonite board.
Yes, so a lot of the times when people are plein air painting or trying to do life drawing, they feel like they need the easel and the box and the glass and all the things.
Well, I mean, I need a beret, and I want to be very fancy
and
about
light
it.
and an umbrella, but you really don't. Just a basic board can get you there really inexpensively, and it becomes a little mini table.
That's a really cool idea. This is a nice size, too, for putting in your lap or taking somewhere and even propping up. So when you're thinking about this, would you go, I mean, I notice also not only is there no black, there's no white. And I remember taking a painting class where the teacher yelled at me constantly, stop using white. Because it was like this idea that you're being lazy when your light is used with white.
They did use white. I didn't include it because I thought it would be weird to paint white on white, but they used it very sparingly. It was really about tinting the color and kind of bringing it to life and adding luminance. And really, like the Viridian green and this ultramarine blue were brand new colors then. And so that added that luminance and that whole different look and feel that never existed.
That's so cool. I'm definitely gonna change up my palette a little bit. Act like the masters.